If you're a truck driver, this piece of plastic could save your life. This is new to the US market. It's called a lug nut indicator. Big fleets are using them, and you should too. I'll show you how it's installed. But before you start your trip as a driver, you can glance over your lug nuts with these units installed over the lug nut itself, and it would indicate if there was a loose lug nut condition before you begin to drive. Say if this nut was to loosen up, the lug nut indicator flag would turn as the nut were unscrewing off the stud. This works very well in either direction, whether they're facing each other or they're going with the rotational direction of the wheel or against the rotational direction of the wheel. You can install them either way on the front axle. Now where things get complicated, when you talk about the rear hub. Come on, I'll show you. Now let's say, for example, you're going to install these pieces of plastic over your rear lug nuts. Now, say they were touching each other. If your fleet has a policy where all lug nut indicators have to touch each other, you may want to only use them on the front axle. The reason being is because you want to make sure that these lug nut indicators are going to be giving the driver the most amount of travel possible in the event that the nut would loosen. Now, say for example the nut to the right were to loosen up, it is conventionally right-handed threaded nuts. This would only move 1/4 inch before it hits the hub. Now the driver may not see that if he were to do a quick pre-trip inspection. This one, however, if it were to loosen up, would expose the full 360 rotation of the flag. That's what you want. You want to get the most exposure possible in the event that the stud was to loosen up. So what I think is that you should always go in a direction where it exposes the most amount of travel. So in this specific example, the driver's side would be going against the rotational direction of the wheel. On the other hand of the vehicle, the passenger side would be going with the rotational travel of the wheel. Because like I said, you don't want the flag to just turn 1/4 inch and then having it slip off or fall off, because it's not a good indication. You want to make sure the flag is basically vertical, way out of sequence. You want to make sure that the driver's going to see it. Now, what's also cool about these is that the integral plastic within how it's made, it's designed to break down and melt if there's a problem with the brakes, whether the brakes seized, it's holding up, it's locked up, or if there's a problem with your wheel bearing. These are designed to melt at a certain temperature. It's integrally built into the plastic, so if the driver sees that it's melting around the ring or the outer perimeter or the grooves are missing, you know that you have to do a brake inspection at the next stop. Thanks for watching, guys, and that's Trucking 101.